Good afternoon, everyone. Oh my goodness. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know for a few of you that I heard from, the food and dinner, or lunch rather, that was put on by our team was wonderful. So thank you to Majarka, Chef Tim, and Tanya and team for that. And with that, we are into our holidays. And so again, I heard from, I believe, Polly, that the Christmas store was just swamped, I believe was the words. And I know a few, and have seen a few of my staff take advantage. So thank you. And I know Evan is going to be updating everyone on the Christmas castle. I'm sure Joe may toss in a couple cents as well. Eric. Anyways, so we will, we're really looking forward to it, and obviously we are in full holiday swing with everything that we have. I just don't have batteries. So, but with that, appreciate that, and hope you are enjoying the holiday decor. I'm going to filibuster just a few more moments before I let Joe up here, so Joe doesn't have to scream at you as well. For those of you, would you mind raising your hand if this is your first State of the Castle that you're in attendance? All right. Well, welcome. For those of you that are new, the State of the Castle is just a monthly update that you hear from myself. You'll hear from a number of directors. You have an agenda in front of you, and on the back side, Maureen is nice enough to take a few minutes for follow-up. So, on the back side, you'll see what items were outstanding and where we stand with those items. Thank you, Maureen. So take a look at those. I'm sure Eric or Evan or I can address those as well in our updates. But hopefully, you know that your feedback, what you say, and the feedback we receive does make an impact. And we do want to follow up on that. So, got Eric, my trusty maintenance director. My wife would appreciate if I knew how to change batteries every once in a while. No, I do know how. So that's the State of the Castle. You can always submit questions if you have those ahead of time. But again, Jo Schmidt will be our next one up. She is your resident council president. And Jo has an update on behalf of the resident council. Jo, I think I filibustered just enough.
Hello.
Whoa. Okay, well, count your blessings, because I had this whole speech prepared, this inspiring speech, getting you to think about volunteering and getting more involved and that sort of thing. I'm saving that for December, okay? Because I messed up, as hard as that may be to believe, on the instructions that are on the tables with the baskets. It should say the bazaar and buy your raffle tickets in North Point, second floor, not Lake Terrace, second floor. We've corrected the signs, so hurry on up after this meeting to the balcony above the lobby. You take the C elevator to the second floor and walk over to buy your raffle tickets and to shop at the bazaar. And this is our biggest fundraiser for the scholarship fund. So it's fun, it's festive, there's a lot of joy going on. And my favorite thing is after we put the baskets out and once we open the doors to the bazaar, I love coming down and seeing particularly the staff gathered around the baskets, and they're strategizing. Should we put our tickets in this one? Or should we put our tickets in that one? And so it's the biggest fundraiser of the year. And Friday, our Black Friday sales of the raffle tickets was a huge success, and thank you all who, you had no idea what was going to be in the baskets. We also want to really mention that every basket contains gift certificates or merchandise from our wonderful business neighbors in the area, mostly on Downer Avenue, but a few from other places as well. Okay, I know it's hard to believe, but I messed up twice. We promised you, the committee, samples for tasting the pickles, which are on sale in the general store with expanded hours. for you to buy pickles and shop the store. Those will be available for tasting starting this afternoon. They were not available this morning, but we've rectified that. And one more thing, and this wasn't my problem, but we do have a Saturday movie. You're going to see on the Saturday, on the December movie list, that it starts with December 6th. It starts with December 2nd. There is a Saturday movie. The posters will be up later today. So I think that's it for me. Thank you very, very much.
All right, thank you, Joel, and thank you for all your efforts to make the raffle and bazaar successful. Majorca, come on up. A couple of hard-hitting questions here for you. Take it away.
Thank you. Hello. So I just have a couple questions here to answer for you guys, so we'll just kind of go down the list. The first resident question was, all the holiday meal restrictions and changes seem confusing and disruptive, not like cheery holiday hospitality. So last year when we put out information about the holidays, it was communicated to us that we didn't get this information to the residents soon enough. So this year, in conjunction with the Food and Beverage Committee, myself, Tanya, Tim, Tyler, talked through the holidays and put it together in a memo. We were asking for things a little bit sooner this year. Because we have the increase in population, we really just needed to know how to plan. Trends in the past show that holidays are not very popular, so we needed to know what to do. Using Thanksgiving as an example, my first year here at East Castle, for Thanksgiving, we served 14 people. Last year, my second Thanksgiving at East Castle, we served 24 people. This year, we served 76 people. So that is why we're asking for that information ahead of time so we can plan appropriately. If there are questions about when we're doing things, there's some copies of the memo in the mailroom, or where the menus are in the bistro, I apologize. I'll gladly work through that. For some of the residents who are newer, when there is a holiday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, I think they're all listed in the employee handbook. We do only offer one meal that day. Kind of depends on trends. Usually it's lunchtime. We want to allow our staff also to spend some time with their family. So typically it's a buffet. Thanksgiving was a plated meal. And then we kind of tweaked things this year because the holidays this year fall a little bit funny. When they fall on a Sunday, we kind of have to do things a little bit different. Any other questions about the holidays? Oh, wonderful. The second question I have is, there have been times when it takes a really long time to be served dinner. I understand a fair number of us do not make reservations, but are seated anyways. Perhaps those who do not make reservations should wait. That is a simple courtesy to those who reserve and the servers and the kitchen staff. So if you guys were at dinner on Monday, you saw that we were very busy and we needed to seat people in the 1884. You also saw that we weren't set in the 1884 because when we started the evening, we had reservations for about 68. Our dining room sits 74 if we don't use the private dining rooms. So Sam and I thought we were good. We ended up serving 92 people on Monday. So as people are coming down and I see that we have no more tables, we need to quickly adjust. So we strongly encourage everybody make a reservation for every single day. We need to know what to be prepared for, not only in the dining room, but also in the kitchen. I know there were quite a few of you who were upset on Tuesday that we ran out of if I could talk, split pea soup. So we made 6 gallons. Typically we make 3 gallons. Knowing that that's a favorite, we made extra. Again, because we didn't have reservations, we're just using history. So we do not know how many people are coming. We really have no idea what to prepare for. We're working on some things with the community app to have online reservations. That should be good to go in January. So please make reservations. And Tanya and I are going to start to be a little bit more sticklers. We never want to say no, but if you come down and don't have a reservation, we are going to start to ask people to wait in the 1884 until we serve those who do have reservations. It's not fair to those who are following the steps and making reservations that they have to wait, or maybe they have to sit in the 1884 when they'd rather dine in the dining room. So please make reservations. Yes, Mr. Woodard.
When this all goes online, are you going to follow the practice that most restaurants follow, that if you call and you want to say a 5:30 reservation, you're going to limit the number of reservations?
Correct. We definitely will. There's parameters set in place that we will limit the amount of reservations. If you guys have noticed, if everybody comes at 5:30, we would need one server per table to properly take care of everybody. So we need to stagger things so we can properly take care of everybody. Otherwise, if I am seating Tanya 2 tables in a row, it's going to take her a little bit so she can get to you. I also want to remind people that we do take reservations at 6 and at 6:15. So if we could spread out dinner service a little bit, we have the ability to take better care of you guys. Any other questions with reservations? Yes?
I have a suggestion, and that is like if people are, what am I trying to say? If people wanted a 5:30 reservation, and you had just got a bunch of them, maybe you could even seat people in the bar room or whatever it's called, and they could enjoy the drink.
We would love if people took advantage of the 1884 and used it to get drinks. That is the primary purpose of why we built it. Unfortunately, we haven't got the residents to understand yet. Come down, have a drink, wait in the 1884, and we'll get you seated when a table opens.
And you would find them in the.
Correct. We would definitely know that you're over there and come and get you when we have your table ready for you. Yes. Any other questions with reservations? All right, and then my last question is, many wonderful salmon dishes are served at East Castle. What is the source of the salmon, wild, lake penned, or tank raised? So our primary vendor is Cisco. Cisco uses a company called Best Aquaculture Practices. This is they have fisheries all over the world. Our salmon comes from the Atlantic Ocean. And it comes from various parts of the Atlantic Ocean. It is, I don't want to say it's tank raised, it is raised in the Atlantic Ocean. So, right off the coast of a lot of the countries, raised in the ocean. I don't know everywhere it comes from because Cisco does use multiple different vendors with this company that they use. Any other questions for myself?
Elaborate on that further?
On the salmon? Unfortunately not really, because Cisco doesn't necessarily always know where, they know where they're getting their salmon, but they don't necessarily know right now our salmon at East Castle came from this vendor. Yes, Mrs. Heller?
Yes. At one point it was mentioned that you might take dinner reservations as early as 4:45. Have you decided to just wait till 5?
We're going to wait. So the question was, we originally were going to take dinner reservations at 4:45. We are not going to take reservations at 4:45. We're going to take them at 5 o'clock. We struggle right now to have our 5 o'clock reservations show up at 5 o'clock. We are, a lot of times are seating the 5 o'clock and 5:15 reservations at the same time. So I fear if we start at 4:45 also, we will be seating all 3 of those times at the same time. Anything else for me before I turn it over to Lindsay? All right, remember to make your reservations by tomorrow for Christmas at the Castle. We are expecting a very busy day and we want to be set for the right amount of folks. Thank you.
Thanks, Majorca. Well, good afternoon, everyone. So, easy month for me, better than last month, specific to COVID update. So, obviously last month during our update, we were in a COVID outbreak where we did have independent living individuals who had COVID, many staff members, as well as in all areas of our healthcare areas. Our residents have since recovered, as well as our staff, and I'm happy to report that currently we have no active COVID cases, which is fantastic. That being said, it still is going around, and cold and flu season is definitely amongst us, as well as, I sound like a broken record, but each month, and especially with the changing of the seasons, of yesterday being cold, or 2 days ago being cold, and today being a little more mild, being aware of your symptoms, being aware of your allergies, making sure you have your flu shot, your RSV shot, your updated pneumonia shot, as pneumonia is going around, as well as your COVID booster. So, as always, if you are feeling ill, please contact the front desk. Please do not come down, as we do not want that to spread. We have staff here who are able to help you get your mail, bring food to you, and so on. So monitor your symptoms closely and make sure you keep us in the loop. And then I do have one more update. Again, since last month to current month, we have a new therapy manager. So if you recall, or we're not here, Andrew, our prior therapy manager, did leave East Castle Place to go to a facility closer to home. But his shoes have been filled by Li Zhang. She just started on Monday, and she is a physical therapy assistant as well, very similar to Andrew, and she will be assuming all of his responsibilities. And so when you call for outpatient therapies or have a therapy-related question that Teresa isn't able to assist you with, and you contact the therapy gym, Lee will be your point of contact. So she's been meandering throughout the halls. Everyone's been very welcoming to her, she has said. So as she's absorbing, all the different intricacies of East Castle Place. But we're very excited to get her going and work with the therapy department. Any questions for me? No? All right, then I'll pass it off to Evan.
Thank you, Lindsay. Show of hands, who is coming to Christmas at the Castle? Show of hands, who is bringing family members or friends to Christmas at the Castle? So this is the first year since COVID that we are doing this, and we're very excited. We have a list of various activities going on during the day. So as Majorca said, we have our brunch service from 11:30 to 1:30. Sorry, gotcha. We have our lunch service from 11:30 to 1:30. Reservations are required for that. As Majorca said, get those in by tomorrow. Pastor Harold will have his normal service. We will have a performing arts from the UWM students that will be doing a variety show, and then we have Santa, desserts, and Mr. Breven will be announcing our raffle basket winners for Christmas at the Castle. So we are all excited for that to happen, and we look forward to all of you coming. As far as December, has anyone picked up an activity calendar yet? A few people, wonderful. So just want to go over a few things that are on the calendar for December. Kathy Barnes, is Kathy here? Don't see her. So she is doing a holiday pop-up to sign up, our holiday pop-up cards. The sign-up sheets are available for that. We're doing some different stuff with our announcements, so those are in the library sign-up binder right now. The greatest Christmas pageant ever, as well as the Kintari Corral, those are open for sign-ups as well. Those are outings, so we ask that you sign up for those prior, because we have limited seating on the bus and want to make sure everybody that wants to go can go. If you would like to do independent transportation, that is more than fine as well. Okay? We were having the Milwaukee Hot Club on New Year's Eve. They were here last year. I believe they were a hit. Everybody remember them? Wonderful. So we're looking forward to that. And then I do have one question. So please reaffirm that guests under 18 should not use the pool or pool table without a resident present. So Willie and I are creating a policy for that. Moving forward, anyone under the age of 5 will not be permitted. If they are over 5, any guest needs to sign a waiver. In addition, we ask that the resident be present through the whole time while using the pool. On the pool table, we just ask that you be respectful and kind of the same rules. So any questions? Ms. Crump? I'm sorry, I would like to add, I know where you're going with that. We, on the, let's see, 19th? 17th. We have 2 showings of the ECP choir, 3:30 and 6:30. So big thanks to Ms. Crump for setting that up, and all of our individuals who are involved in that. Anything else, Ms. Crump? Did that answer it? Wonderful. Anyone else? Ms. Johnson?
Yes, I just want to make sure people know that the foreign film of the month is Babette's Feast. And that will be shown whatever the third Monday of the month, 2:30 in the theater.
Did everybody hear that?
If you haven't seen Babette's Feast, it is a feast for the eyes.
Babast. Babast Feast. Wonderful.
Babette's Feast.
Any other questions? We look forward to seeing everybody at Christmas at the Castle. Oh, yes.
I just have
Okay.
one question. There are 2 things that are requiring admission, right, on the bus trip?
Sign-up sheets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when do we pay for our tickets?
So one of them is the Canteri Corral. So we ask that you purchase those tickets. The second one is the greatest Christmas pageant ever. I have already purchased those tickets. We will bill that to you after the event.
Okay.
Wonderful. Mike?
For anybody who's interested in Cantari Corral, you don't need to have the tickets in advance. They're just cheaper in advance, but they will have tickets for sale at the door.
Correct, and we have a process with the sign-up sheets, or I shouldn't say sign-up sheets, with the posters. So Ms. Schmidt helps us to put them in there in kind of a chronological order, but there will be information on how to sign up, what the website is. If you guys have any questions or need help or assistance, please contact me and I can let you guys know how to do that and sign up for tickets. Any other questions? Wonderful. I will pass off to our wonderful maintenance man, Eric. Director, I should say. Both today.
Still our man, right?
Thank you, Evan.
Okay, I will start first with the questions that were submitted. First, are the 2 umbrellas on the roof garden going to storage? Someone beat me to take that taken care of. Yes, we took care of that on Monday. Those are put back in storage. We took care of the patio furniture around the facility last week Wednesday, so it is now in storage, so it's kept for next year. Second question was, what is the process and schedule for snow plowing and salting of the parking lots? Kind of our second run through was this last Sunday. We did have one more before that on Halloween. But our general process for those that are here and then some of our new residents, we're most focused on main entrances and plowing. It's typically we have 2 teams of 2 individuals. We'll put more on it as necessary. But those 2 gentlemen, one will be in the skid loader. They'll be taking care of the parking lots with the plow and then salting thereafter. And the other person's in the John Deere taking care of the city sidewalks and then the emergency exits. So we're most heavily focused on the main entrances. Obviously for emergency vehicles is the priority. We need to make sure those are open. But then we do take care of the city sidewalk, and when we do take care of one run of the city sidewalk, we then go and take care of the emergency exits. And I know a lot of folks here use those emergency exits as kind of a general thoroughfare in and out of the building because it's close to your home. The only thing I would caution you about is we're hitting the city sidewalks, then we're hitting those. I just don't want you to put yourself in any sort of a difficult situation where you could slip or fall. Try to stick to the main exits if there's a snowfall during the middle of the day, because we're in the process of cleaning it up. Most snowfalls for us just tend to happen between that 10 p.m. and kind of 4 a.m. timeline, in which case, more often than not, by about 7:30, it's all cleaned up. We do have staff that come pretty early for that. So it's just those middle of the day ones where it's still snowing, and I just don't want you to put yourself in a spot where you could slip and fall. We have a few more to put out, but we are putting the salt bins at all those emergency exit points. If there's one that's not at the exit you use, you're perfectly welcome to put that work order in, so I know that you're using that door and there's a salt bin there, so if you do see some ice, You simply has a scoop in there and you can chuck it out on something that would look like a hazard to you or someone coming behind you. Okay, next question. And I changed the context a little bit, not knowing who submitted the request. In spring this year, we had a water leak into the building from a bad ice and rainstorm. What maintenance is taking place to prevent that from happening again? For those of you who aren't aware, it was about spring last year. We had a heavy snow and ice storm, and that piled up on top of the roofs. Then it rained very heavily. Not a small rain, it was a lot of rain very quickly. What happened was the rooftop was kind of like a giant plastic bag, and there's drains all over it. The snow and ice created multiple dams across the roof, and so the water built up like little pools in different spots, big pools, like about a foot of water that the guys were jumping around in up there. I believe even Tyler was up there. So there's not, what we've done to maintain it and what we do every year, we pay roughly, it equates to about, I would say $10,000 to $12,000 a year. We spend roughly in fall, we have a company come in and do a maintenance to all of our roofs. So they come in, they do an assessment, they take about 100 pictures for me, they show me current problems, where caulking's failed, where the rubber, because our roofs are predominantly rubber with a stone ballast. If the rubber starts to tent away from the wall, it tells us kind of the age of the roof, that it might be shrinking in some places. So we look for tenting, we look for holes, penetrations, flashing issues, any penetration for like your heating system, those exhaust pipes go out the roof, your air conditioning system goes out the roof. So any of those points, they come through and make sure that everything's good for the winter. We spend that money because I'd rather resolve it in fall than wait for winter when I can do, next to nothing except for a very temporary patch. So we spend that every year. In this case, it's not anything that we did that we didn't do maintenance or forego maintenance. We did the maintenance, but this was a very unusual situation to have that much snow on the roofs and then get that big of a rainfall because the temperature changed just a few degrees and it was rain instead of snow. Really the best we can do is keep an eye out for those things when we're looking at the weather and just try to keep an eye out for it so if it does happen, we have folks up there with shovels trying to clear pathways from where the water is pooling to the drains. Because basically the water pooled up above the flashing lines. So there wasn't a lot of anything that you can do to prevent it from happening. Again, it is a very rare situation. It's not something that we're going to expect every year. But there's points where the flashing goes up to and it's drilled into the actual substrate. So we can't do a lot in that small section. It only goes so high. That's how far the water was pooling, to be honest. So just to kind of understand the context of what that question's about, what we're doing annually, and then kind of what happened a little bit there, and something we can watch out for. Okay. A couple points I had to bring up. I just want to talk about disposal use and maintenance. We had a couple work orders come up recently. Kind of a big group of them where disposals weren't working or drains were clogged.
Yeah.
Predominantly what I like to tell people is disposals are meant for like the scraps on your plate more often than not. It could probably chew up a chicken if you threw it down there. The disposal will go through it, I promise you. The issue is behind the disposal about an 1.5 inch drain that's about that big. And the drain, when it's a straight pipe, isn't the problem. It's when it goes through different turns in the walls. That's where you get the clogs. And that's where we end up having to take your disposal apart, snake the run to clear it out, hope it doesn't end up somewhere else, and then put your disposal system back together. So I just encourage, if it's stuff you want to throw out, throw it in the garbage. We had this happen once. If it's a whole pot of soup you want to put down there, put it down the toilet. That is the easiest way. It'll take that. The toilet is about a 4.5 inch drain. So that'll take that amount of waste. Whereas the disposal is really just not meant for that. It can chew it up. We do put pretty good disposals in. They used to be 3rd horsepower. They are 1/2 horse. So they are a strong disposal, but the drains can only take so much. And if you do, try to use a lot of water and slowly add whatever you're disposing down the drain to that. Mostly what does it is things that thicken, rice, different things like that. You people usually put like a lot of fruits down there. So orange peels, banana peels, things like that. Over the course of time, those fibrous items is what's going to get built up in the drains. So again, they can mostly take it, but if you're getting drain problems, you kind of know where they're coming from. And then two last things, I just want to thank everyone for their use of Touchdown via kind of works up via Touchdown. Submitting those requests, those are honestly, they're fantastic. I really do appreciate when you put those work orders in. And for those of you that send me a second request that updates me as to where the situation is. So it really does help with the communication, so I appreciate the part that the time you put in with that. And then lastly, and I don't mean to skip Mike, I'll speak to it briefly. I just want to extend a thank you from all the maintenance staff, the housekeeping, laundry staff, security. They really appreciate the money that's donated to the Employee Appreciation Fund. It really means a lot to them. So I just want, on behalf of them, want to extend thanks to all the money that you put forth for that. It means a lot to them this time of year. And that's all I have. Any questions? Ms. Hackle?
A couple of things.
Yeah.
Before you mentioned the thank you to us,
Mhm.
I was thinking your crew is particularly friendly, warm, responsive, and so on. Thank you to them. Number two, is there a possibility that a couple of tables and chairs could be left out in the courtyard for those warm, no wind, January, February days when there might be some sun and it might be a nice place to go and sit?
You're not wrong. I mean, we've had a couple instances over the past years where February we get a 50-degree week and it's nice to get outside. Are we looking for those mostly to be in like the contemporary courtyard or gazebo?
I would think the contemporary, that's more protected.
I think we have a few we can put out there. And if there's more needed, certainly just let me know by putting a work order.
Thank you.
Yep.
And pray for good weather.
Agreed. Yeah, they're saying this is an El Nino year, so lots and lots of snow for us. Yes, Ms. Barker.
It's a response on the back side about the trash bin in Bradford Terrace.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a big trash receptacle as you come in the building, down that hall and take the D elevator.
Yeah, up more towards the contemporary seal
Problem
there.
is, it's almost always overflowing. The one we used to have
Mhm.
earlier this year was at the west end of Bradford Terrace parking with the glass doors that go into that bank of elevators
Oh,
there.
I'm familiar with that, and they put one down there now.
But that trash receptacle left and never came back, and all that trash that we have to carry up to the other end, and then I've just been setting it on the floor. The bin is already overflowing, but if you get one back at the other end as well.
I know it's precisely what we were talking about. We've added one back over by the Bradford Terrace entrance to the building. Today. They just did it.
Oh,
Yep.
because I came in.
It was on the item list, and I'm like, yeah, it's gotta get down there. It's essentially gonna be a temporary one. We do wanna add a bit of a nicer looking one than kind of the dump ones that you do find in the garbage rooms. Because we're in accordance with the environmental committee, we wanna add a recycling bin there as well.
Oh, great,
Mhm.
yeah, because otherwise my recycle has to go all the way to the mailroom.
Mhm.
Or 4 stories up, because
Yeah.
there was no place to put it, so that's a great idea.
Good. Anything else? Yes, Mr. Hobbs?
This is a tall order, I recognize, and I
Oh.
may be the only person with the interest.
Mhm.
But our apartment is as dry as a bone. The static electricity is, it's voltage.
Sure.
Is there any way in which air can be humidified? Any at all? At least in Lake Terrace, that's where we are.
Currently, okay, so the units in Lake Terrace, those are on all their own separate air handlers, okay? There are certain units in Contemporary that they have forced air furnaces. Some people have paid for the upgrade of having a humidifier installed. Those types of air handlers you have in Lake Terrace, that's not an option to actually have it installed on the existing forced air system. The easiest, simplest, best resolution is actually just get a humidifier that you can keep in your home. It's the inconvenience of having to fill it. I've had a couple residents here use that. It's inconvenient to have to fill it periodically, but that is the simplest, most straightforward way is to get a stationary one that looks like a dehumidifier, but it does humidify the space.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Wish I could have given you a better answer.
Thanks.
Yes?
In the back.
In the back.
I noticed the same thing also in Lake Terrace. Our relative humidity in our apartment has been at 25%, which is the same as the Sahara Desert. So my question is, if you get a humidifier, because Sig and I have talked about that, how long do you think that humidified air will stay in the apartment at the rate of air exchange?
It should stay in there for quite a while, to be honest with you. As a comparison to Bradford Terrace, we have a constant air exchange. In Lake Terrace, we do not have as much of a constant air exchange. Because if you'll notice, you don't have fresh air intake into your apartment. So we can't constantly exhaust. Your exhaust in your apartment is the bathrooms. So if you leave that exhaust off, you're typically recirculating the air.
There's no separate exhausting in the bathrooms.
No, I'm talking the exhaust you turn on and off. You do have an exhaust. You have an exhaust system in the bathroom.
In the bathroom.
It's a small grate. It's about 8 by 8. It's usually positioned closer to the toilet.
Oh.
It's up towards the ceiling.
Horizontal?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's the exhaust you have in the bathrooms. Yeah, there's just not that fresh air exchange, air coming in. That's not typical of a residential system. Even in a home, that's not typical. You'd have to have an air-to-air exchanger installed to bring that fresh air in.
We would just put a steam humidifier in the house we were in, so.
Yeah.
We have to have this humidity.
Mhm.
Is there an explanation for what the different levels are of those bars? I have no understanding of what the significance of those bars are on that control in the bathroom.
I'll tell you what, maybe I can stop by and take a look. I think it's a better explanation. I can see it one-on-one and make sure I'm getting a clear message to you. I think it's for the different controls, but I can stop by. Okay. Yes.
Do you, does maintenance ever clean out, vacuum out the air exchangers or filters or whatever that are the ceilings?
The ductwork?
Yeah, the duct, thank you.
Commonly we don't. I mean, so the thing to understand is you have a return air system. So that return air system, that might have dirt, dust, debris. If you have animals, maybe fur from your pets. But that is run through a MERV 10 filter. After the MERV 10 filter, those ductworks are generally pretty clean because we do exchange the filters. We put a good filter in there. If you put a junky filter in there, I would expect it to look less clean. I think that would be more on a case-by-case basis. We have to establish if there really is a problem in that home, and if it is, we want to get it right. We'll take a close look at it. A lot of times we'll clean the outsides of the vents and see what it looks like. Otherwise, we can hire a company to have that duct cleaned. But again, we just got to make sure we're using that time wisely. So if you do have a problem, we'd be happy to look at it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, David?
When is the servicing of our furnaces going to take place?
Probably here in December. You should see a flyer coming out. We just got to nail down a date. All your filters are in, so just spend that time to go through. Mm-hmm. Yes?
We're getting a buildup of excessive moisture on our windows that has the courtyard, and it's a lot of moisture.
Mm-hmm.
It actually drips down and gets to the floor. It's not just the buildup on the window itself. Do you have any way of addressing it?
Mike, you might take a sit down for a second. This could take a second. That is a good point, and actually I did get your work order regarding that. So we're using, Mrs. Guerre, if you don't mind, we're using, the Guerres brought that to our attention in their particular apartment. We're trying a few different things. Because I'll tell you that the answer you don't want to hear is what the window companies are telling me. It's a humidity caused by the occupants. That's what, and they're not wrong. If you have a generous amount of humidity, they're telling you it's going to condensate on your windows. The problem is, and this is the answer I'm trying to mitigate, because I know it's not what you exactly want to hear, is to lower the humidity level and circulate air. So the two options are, you're putting a dehumidifier in or you're putting ceiling fans in to circulate that air and cut down on that condensation occurring on the window. They're telling me, the manufacturer, if they're going to come out and say, let's say there's a problem with the window, now we're well past the warranty period, but if we had a warranty come in, they would deny the warranty because they're saying it has to exist at 35% or less humidity in the home for them to warranty the windows. So we're trying to work through some resolutions. One of the things I'm trying to do with the Guerres' help and their patience with me is we're looking to eliminate certain variables. One of the variables to me is the glass. Is the glass actually keeping the cold out and keeping the warmth in? Okay, because that's where a lot of that condensation starts. It does happen on the framework. I'm familiar with that. But I want to cross out some things, because really the concept of replacing the windows, they're not past their useful life. We just actually had someone in today looking at them, and the alternatives for vinyl and fiberglass are a lesser product than the aluminum windows that we do have. So I want to look at what we have first because I can fix your problem more quickly. And I just want to make sure we're picking the right solution. So we're experimenting a little bit, if you will. By replacing the glass, what I'm looking to resolve is the argon and the nitrogen that's in between the two panes, because we have double pane windows. I want to make sure that that is still there, because if it's not, that's where my problem's coming from. So by replacing the glass, I can eliminate that as a potential variable. If I replace the glass, no sweating on the glass, but I have it on the framework, then I'm kind of back to square one where I have to look at either dehumidification or certain sort of something to circulate the air, like a ceiling fan is the most, the simplest approach, if you will. But it's a tough situation. Everybody has different outlooks. And what I mean by that is your windows face a different direction. So some people that face east, we get a lot of wind off the lake. Some of those windows react differently. We have other ones that have in the courtyard that's not facing that at all, and so we get different effects in the windows, because it's happened to probably, I would say somewhere around 8 to 10, maybe 12 residents are experiencing this in their homes. So it's not consistent in every one. So I'm trying to figure out why it's not consistent in every one, what's experiencing those residents' apartments, and what can I do. So we're starting with the glass because the answer of dehumidification and a ceiling fan is not necessarily what I want to give you. If that's what it is, that may be the end result. But I want to try things to fix it. So that's what I'm in the middle of right now. We had our company Bliffer come through and measure those windows. So we're going to have them replaced, and we're going to kind of keep an eye on them for a little bit. But the simplest answer right now is some dehumidification and some airflow. And they said it'll honestly stop it off windows. We've had Blifford and then another subcontractor out here to look at them. So we're hearing some consistent messages. Hopefully that gives you some clarity to that problem. And I can ask Maureen to leave that on the back of this, much like the other answers to the questions. We'll leave that as an open item, and I can continue to speak to that and make sure we get a resolution to it.
Well, we could share our moisture with Lake Terrace.
I like that idea. And that's part of it. Brand new windows, it's super tight. You're not going to get any humidity. And older windows, you're going to get some humidity through. And in some cases, please call us. Don't discourage yourselves from putting a work order for that. We're finding that the windows are a little older. You have to really close them and lock them for winter to make sure you're not getting any air through the windows. When you get a little bit of air through windows, that's where you're going to get some ice formation. So we don't want to make it worse than it is. Yes, David?
One of our windows would block after we wash them with the...
Yeah.
And the top will drop down a little bit, like an eighth of an inch.
It could have, yeah.
Push that lever. So...
If that's the case, definitely put a work on. We can come out and resolve that.
You can move it up an eighth of an inch and it'll...
Absolutely. Yeah, we can come look at that, sure. Okay, Mike, you are finally up.
Thank you, Eric.
You're very welcome.
Very welcome. I love following Eric. He gets to tell you why pipes don't flush properly. People want to know when the treasure chest opens. You know, for me, that's it. So I love following him. The tough stuff is out of the way. I also want to point out to you, those of you that are regulars at my trivia show, either watching it on 9:55 or you come on Thursdays, today, spot checking in real time, I might have been wrong on a question. And the people that were there will point that out to you with great glee. But we'll find out next week. I'll do my own research. So come and have some fun with us on Thursday. I do have a couple of updates for you here. First of all, I really want to thank Kathy Johnson. She did a wonderful job with the Employee Appreciation Fund. Without somebody like Kathy, this really doesn't happen. I want to tell you some of the details of it. We had 89 donors who participated this year. And frankly, it probably was a few more than that. Several of your neighbors put cash into the blue box in the front lobby, and I have no way of knowing, how many people contributed that cash. So it probably was a few more than 89, but still, that is an excellent number, and I'm very, very pleased. The total that was raised for the Employee Appreciation Fund was $75,842. That's a magnanimous amount of money. It is 12,000 more than was raised last year. And I want to tell you on behalf of all of the employees that will benefit from your generosity, I want to tell you a heartfelt thank you. I know each of them can't get up here one by one and say thank you. You probably will see a thank you video in the next month or month and a half. But on behalf of them, thank you. I do want to point out also that there were some very innovative ways that people donated this year, and you may want to consider that for next year. We had several of your neighbors who donated to their required minimum drawdown on their IRAs. We were happy to work with people on that. We, as you know, accepted cash, checks, and credit cards, but we also had one of your neighbors donate a car to the Employee Appreciation Fund. We sold that car through our auction program, and the proceeds went into the Employee Appreciation Fund. So if you have moved to East Castle Place and you find that you're not using the car, it's been 2 or 3 years, and Evan's staff is taking you everywhere you want to go, you might want to consider whether this is a viable option. You can dedicate a donation like that to any fund of East Castle Place, the Employee Appreciation Fund, the Community Enrichment Fund, whatever. But again, thank you very much. In addition to that, 3 of your neighbors have already signed up as monthly donors for next year, so that they do not have a large contribution hitting them at one time in the month of October or November. They will space it out over 10 months, and it gets added to their monthly bill. If any of you are interested in those options, come and talk to me. There's some paperwork you need to fill out, and I'll be happy to walk you through that. Other things going on right now. You all know that the Christmas at the Castle, this week is the focus of it. We have the holiday shop up on the 2nd floor directly across from my office, which kicked off this morning. It's open right now, actually. I think Joe Schmidt is up there tending the store, but you're all down here. So I don't know who she's selling to, but run up there afterwards. She'll appreciate the company. We're open tomorrow from 10 until noon, and from 1 until 3. We're also open Saturday from 10 until noon. In addition to that, you know about the raffles we have going on out here. There's 4 or 5 tables out here. I think there are a total of 15 raffle prizes. They're really fabulous gifts. I encourage you to take your time, get out there and look. Some of the really nice things are hidden in the baskets because the baskets are so full, but there really are some nice treasures in there. And I really want to thank the following merchants who participated in this: Beans and Barley, Bella Fiore, Boswell Books, Breadsmith, Cafe Hollander, Canella, Goodland Home and Goods, PS Salon, Salon Nova, Starbucks, and Stone Creek Coffee. And there were a couple of your neighbors who actually went store to store and collected a lot of this. Lori Hip, Fran Hunter, we're really, really grateful to all of their efforts. Their efforts are helping fund scholarships for next year. That's what happens to all those proceeds, and we are very, very grateful to that. Christmas at the Castle and the holiday shop that's upstairs. I would be remiss if I didn't thank Jane Peterson, Polly Tarantino, and Joe Schmidt. Without them, things like that just don't happen. The basket makers this year, the raffle prizes that were assembled: Lynn Woodard, Fran Hunter, Judy Christofferson, Judy Frankowiak, Carol Eschner, Mary Beth Holbrook, Marilyn Walker, and Joe Schmidt. Thank you very, very much. I'm not even sure what some of these are. Joe wrote this down. Bizarre elves. I'm not sure what you did, but I'm sure without you this wouldn't have happened. Jane Peterson, Polly Tarantino, Lori Hip, Ellen Kruger, Marion Pullman, and Arlie Kapp. And then the bizarre cashiers, of course: Polly Tarantino, Lori Hip, Arlene Brackensick, Jane Peterson. And we can't forget the fact that apart from the holiday store upstairs, there's another holiday tradition ongoing right now in the store that we have on the 1st floor. Evan and his team and a great group of volunteers created the new cherry pickles for this year. And those are for sale in the store on tomorrow, Evan, is that right? And Saturday? Sunday? What? And Sunday. So tomorrow and Sunday.
And Saturday.
Tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay. You'll be able to pay cash or credit card for that if you're interested. So wonderful tradition. It's been going on since 1920. It used to be the fundraiser for Milwaukee Protestant Home. It's still ongoing, and it's because of the generosity of you and all of your neighbors. So thank you all. In addition to that, a couple other quick things. Where am I? Oh, the raffles. Be sure to write your name on the raffle stubs and then drop them in the basket. Don't think that because you have the second half of the number on it that we're going to find you. If you're not there on Sunday when we call the winners, then we're not going to find you. Write your name on the stub before you drop it in the basket. We're going to call the winners at approximately 4 o'clock on Sunday. I promise it won't take more than 3 or 4 hours to call the 15 winners, but we're going to have a lot of fun. Majarka and her team are putting together a wonderful holiday spread for all of you. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have a lot of fun. The raffle tickets right now, Black Friday is over. The 50 cents a ticket is no longer the mantra for the cost. They're $1 a ticket. The 50 cents was Black Friday only. Now they are $1 a ticket. And again, we have 15 prizes. Several of your neighbors have come to me recently and said, how can I get East Castle Place wine? We had Red Blend, we had Chardonnay last year. The quick answer is, you can't. I don't have the new shipment in yet. We have made arrangements with Lewis Station Winery in Lake Mills. Thank you. Tyler always points that out to me, Lake Mills. I have a mental block about that. We were promised it about 3 weeks ago. It hasn't come in yet. When we get it, you'll know. It'll be our 140th anniversary edition. My understanding is we're getting Chardonnay and we're getting Cabernet Sauvignon this time. So we're all looking forward to that. I really think that's all I got. Are there any questions? Oh, I was also asked about end of year giving. If any of you still need charitable deductions for the end of the year, our Community Enrichment Fund is something that we're focusing on right now. We've bought a lot of things with that fund over the last 4 or 5 years. We redid the rooftop garden. Right now, your committee reviewing those has agreed to purchase a new outdoor fireplace for the courtyard. We're going to have it by springtime. It's not wood. It's one of those propane things. You just turn it on and it goes. That's there. Again, you can donate something to East Castle and designate the proceeds to that fund, or see me about other ways to donate. Are there any questions I can answer for anybody about any of these things? Yes.
No, but I'm going to get into the break. Scott and I will be up on the second floor when this is over. If anyone has not re-registered to vote in this district, if you did not live in this district, in order to vote next year, you'll need to re-register. Or if you want to know the status of your absentee ballot, or request an absentee ballot for 2024, we'll be up there with a computer. So after this program.
Okay. So see Kathy upstairs, and while you're there, buy some raffle tickets right away. We have them all up there. Any other questions or comments? Yes. Let me repeat that for everybody because that was kind of soft-spoken. When some people voted last year, they had to go to a new polling place. And the answer or the comment to that, Kathy, is?
Is temporarily, usually we vote at the church over on Hackett and St. Marcus, yes. And but with the construction going, they're doing something down in the basement there. So until that is all completed, our voting place is at the Montessori School on Prospect.
Okay. All right. So that's true. The polling place has changed temporarily.
It's on Prospect. Yeah.
The Montessori School right across the street.
Right.
Yeah. Just go up the ramp from Bradford Terrace parking and it's right across the street. Yes.
Where did Kathy say she's going to be after this meeting?
She's going to be on the second floor of which building?
Yeah, down at the end where chairs are.
Okay, in what we used to know as contemporary?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
okay, okay. It's now called North Point Terrace. North Point Terrace for all of you new people. Yeah, right. Any other questions or comments? I'm going to turn it back to Tyler, who's going to bring us home.
All right. Well, thank you, Mike. A lot of information there today. I actually didn't receive any questions, which might be a state of the castle first. But in here, so is there any general questions? Otherwise, obviously, I'll be around afterwards. If yes.
You have comments on there about the dimmer.
Yes.
But that didn't really suffice. You go there every night and it's very bright.
So the question that Ms. Horvath is talking to is the dimmer in the dining room working? Yes, the controls are working and staff are trained. We just have the right to leave the lights on as necessary. So I guess I will leave that more to Mijarka and Tanya and work through that. Again, I think the dimming of the lights, so how the lights are dimmed and how they're programmed is actually some lights just turn off and then other lights make up that lit space. So, Mijarka, do you have a comment for that?
Yep, we can definitely dim the lights, but we need to make sure it's something that the majority of the residents would like. There's times that we dim them and people tell us it's too dark, and then we have other residents telling us they want it brighter or they want it darker. So we need to find a happy medium.
So what Mijarka was saying is it's the old, some people like their peas a little soft, some people like their peas a little hard. So some people like the lights on, some people like them dimmer. So I think to that point, it's kind of that straw poll of who's maybe, I don't want to say a louder voice because I don't want yelling in the dining room. But I do know, like Mijarka was saying, something we're able to regulate. I don't know if that's the response.
Quick poll, who would prefer dimmer during dinner?
Quick hands.
Quick hands.
Dimmer.
My husband's
And we have some proxy votes. Lighter. Brighter. All right.
I'll try to find a happy medium for dinner tonight.
We'll go 75%.
Yes.
Not 50, not 100. 75. All right. Mijarka's going to take care of that one. Also, again, just from a general update standpoint, again, just appreciate all the volunteers that are making this whole week come to light. Also want to give a big round of applause to Mijarka and her team, Eric and her team, Evan and his team, obviously the health center team for everything they do throughout the years as well. So just in general, thank you. Yes, Ms.
I
Hackel.
just turned over the page and saw the comment about the newspapers. You and I had a discussion earlier about the increase in the number of residents, and that maybe it was time to think about 2 newspapers each, because it is very...
Right, and that actually is not accurate, because I believe we received 3 journals, 1 New York Times, and 1 Wall Street Journal. And the New York and the Wall Street we're going to maintain in the 1884, along with the 2 Journal Sentinels, and then the 1 Journal Sentinel was going to go into the Bradford Terrace area. That I thought is what we chatted about.
I have several times not seen 2 journals down there.
Okay. I'll chat with Teresa after this. I do believe, again, we are subscribed for 3. Again, as a general reminder, those are for everybody's use. So please don't take those back home with you or take them to your apartment. Those are for reading in the 1884 during your continental breakfast or during that time. So again, those papers are for all, but we should have 2. So I'll verify with Teresa and our paper guy to make sure they're there. Yes?
And another thing, when people are finished with the paper, if they would sort of group all together times and so on, because that's asking too much of people to put newspapers together and be considerate of others.
I didn't say it, you did. Again, just as you're reading papers, put them back nicely together. Mr. Hubbard.
Just one point about the newspapers. Some mornings they're in the library and they haven't been delivered to 1884. So if you get there and you don't see the newspapers, go check in the library. I don't know what the difference is. It just happens periodically.
Okay. Again, we'll chat with Teresa at our front desk and probably help us out there too. But that is the subscriptions that East Castle Place has. If you do want your own subscription delivered to your home, that is possible as well. So, but if there's any other questions, feel free to stick around and ask us individually. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your afternoon and enjoy the holiday kickoffs here. And thank you everybody for everything you do. Have a wonderful afternoon.